Welcome to the Beer Den Podcast. Tonight we'll be drinking Flying Fish Brewing Company's Exit 4 American Triple.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Beer Den Podcast. My name is Ethan Hoopy.
And I'm Michael LaRoe. Tonight we're drinking Exit 4 American Triple by Flying Fish Brewing Company out of Somerdale, New Jersey. They were founded in 1995 by Gene Moeller. In fact, this beer was a gold medal winner in the 2009 Great American Beer Festival and was even named by Men's Journal Best Belgian Beer Brewed in America. We'll be the judge of that. I gotta admit, this one wasn't too bad though. It pours a nice golden color with a pretty, it's actually got a pretty white head to it. Poured very nicely. Lacing is pretty good.
Pretty good,
Hangs
yeah.
around for quite a while actually. Aroma-wise, it has a really light aroma that's also strong of like banana and clove smell.
It's very crisp. I think a lot of that comes from the hops. This is actually sort of an Americanized version of the Belgian triple, which in this case means that they add a lot of hops to it. Throughout your drinking experience with this, it actually gets more and more bitter as time kind of goes on. A lot of those hops kind of come out in the finish.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely has a bitter end to it. It does have a really slow carbonation as well. Flavor goes back to the aroma. It's pretty strong in the banana. It's almost like it's very similar to like a Hefeweizen, where you have that really strong banana flavor to it.
This is actually a good way to compare it. To think about this as is a hoppy Hefeweizen maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
It has a lot of those citrusy notes, but this definitely has a bit more kick to it in the hoppy bitterness section.
Yeah, I agree. So again, banana, clove, there is like that maltiness to it, but it also has a little bit of the hops that kind of give it a little pop to it, and that's kind of nice flavor.
Yeah.
We base everything on 3 criteria here. We have quality out of 50 points, value out of 25, and design out of 25. I scored this out of 36. Overall, I thought it had a very good flavor. I'm a fan of Hefeweizens, and this felt very similar to that, but I liked the added hoppiness to it as well.
I was actually on the other side of the hoppiness. I actually kind of wish that it didn't have as much hoppiness in the flavor. I thought that the bittering kind of took away from a lot of the nice sweetness of the beer, which is why I ended up giving it a 31 for my quality.
Value-wise, this came in at $9.99 for a 6-pack. I thought that was a really reasonable price and very competitive in the market. We typically use $9.99, $10 as kind of that baseline for our scoring. So, yeah, this coming in at that mark for a 6-pack, I thought it was pretty justified.
Yeah, it makes it very, very competitive. You can tell that this is a very high-quality beer. And for them to be able to keep it down at that $9.99 kind of price range is really nice. Especially, so this is like a really good beer for somebody who enjoys a bit more hoppy bitterness, but also wants a lot more citrusy notes in it. And the fact that it comes in at that $9.99 is perfect for them.
Mm-hmm. With that price range, this is a very good introductory beer to a different style that's not as common.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you see a lot of porters and stouts out there, but you don't see very many triples.
Oh, yeah.
So this is definitely a good gateway into those.
Yeah, and especially if you're coming off of IPAs in the US are extremely popular. And so if you are somebody who tends to go for IPAs, this is actually a really good beer to then kind of get something that's a little bit different, but has a lot of those elements that you know and enjoy. And because of all of that, that's why I ended up giving it an 18 for my value.
All right. Design-wise, I end up scoring this out of 20. It has an actual pretty good description of the beer.
Yeah.
I mean, it tells you not only kind of what's in it, but what you should experience as well. And that's always nice. I love the color of the label. That royal purple is just, it really draws your eye to it.
It's very eye-catching.
There's a lot of there's a lot of words on the label in terms of like the Exit 4, which is like its main name, is actually pretty tiny compared to American Triple, Belgian maltiness meets American hoppiness.
I guess it gets straight to the point of what you should be expecting.
Right. It's not so much about what the beer is, it's, I guess, what goes into it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but it does have the alcohol content. This is a 9.5%. It has the Facebook, it has the website for Flying Fish, which is also very good in my book. And it even says if you want to know more about our beers, tours, or their merchandise, to go to that website. What it's lacking, though, is it doesn't have the upper neck label, and it doesn't have a bottle date on it either. It does have on its label, though, printed when it expires.
Yeah, it does have the Best Buy actually printed on the label, which I tend to give at least a point or two back for that, just because so many of them that we've seen so far just end up stamping it somewhere on a brown bottle. Usually it's like, it almost seems like it's a brown ink that they're using on a brown bottle, and it's impossible to see. So it is nice to see them actually stamp it directly on the label. The fact that it has a description that not only talks about what's in it, but your experience drinking it, what you should expect, that to me is huge. I think that I think more beer companies should incorporate that into their bottle design. Yeah, I mean, it's just a few things. Just the fact that, you know, it's just not as unique as it could be with like the bottle shape or like the bottle printing and stuff. But usually you only see those on kind of more extravagant, you know, types of beer and stuff like that. So, I mean, maybe a missed opportunity, but I don't know if I can really fault it too much for not having those kinds of luxuries.
Right.
So all in all, I ended up giving it a 21 for design.
That's actually a pretty good score. So score-wise, that's a 70 for you, Ethan, and a 75 for myself. Overall, averaging that out, that's a 72.5 for Flying Fish Brewing Company's Exit 4 American Triple.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to another Beer Den review.
Don't forget to follow us on social media, links down in the description.
Subscribe, like, and share, and if there are any beers you would like us to try out, leave them in the comments below.
We'll see you on the next episode of the Beer Den Podcast.